Went after grad school, then came back, moved to Delhi, and
Why Delhi?
decided the unfortunate reality in Indian politics today, particularly if you want to be somebody who does bud like I do, is that only some comedians like you are here now. All of our other comedians, news anchors are in Delhi.
Cheran! Sixer!
The other circus is sitting
Okay,
in Delhi.
wow, you're saying it, not me. We are safe, bro. Demolition वहाँ से चला होगा. Somewhere in North Maharashtra, they're going to break something of his family property.
So now the circus is going on there. So if you to be Madari बनना है तो circus पे जाना पड़ेगा. आप अकेले नाचोगे तो कौन देखेगा?
Correct.
He would want to watch Arnab, I would want to watch Barkha, and that was the clash.
Wow. What is the party called? Republican.
The Republican. The BJP on steroids.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Wow, bro. Don't say all this because one day you may want to defect.
One
Look
day,
at your career.
correct. No.
आगे सोचो. Why do Marathi speaking people when they fight break into Hindi abuse?
Because honestly,
They run you actually go and after that they bang shot, bang shot. I'm like, what?
Nice.
What happened to Marathi?
So you
Read
have
the
to
sign.
travel. You have
Marathi
to
mati
travel.
bol.
Whatever you are, at the end of the day, you're karta karita karya karta.
Sorry, we were rolling already. We didn't tell Anish, who's been kind enough to come here.
Correct.
Anish
I'm
Gawande,
mid-coffee.
we have a lot in common. South Bombay boys, same school.
Same school,
but I don't think same batch.
Not same batch yet. What house were you at?
What a rascal.
What house were you at?
Wilson.
I was also a Wilsonite.
Bro, but what's the connection, bro, now?
There's a lot
You're
of connection.
too young.
I'll tell you, when I went to college and I had a professor, and he was the most khadus professor on this planet. But the minute we realized we were both Wilsonites, he was nicer to me than to anyone else.
That's true. There's a
little bit of
tribal politics in
correct
everywhere in India. So
everywhere
why
in
should
India.
school
So
be different?
school first, house next, self last.
Boy, very good.
See.
Land of our birth,
Yeah, land
we
of-
pray to thee. Almost sounds like one of those.
Except I won't say one line, which is "Let it rip, let it thunder," which in hindsight now sounds very terrible.
Just to mention, let it rip, let it thunder is not that Kunal Kamra incident.
Oh dear.
You're referring to that, right? Because you're with the other party.
No, we're not letting it. I was thinking about something very much different. I was like, let it rip. Let it.
Oh, I thought, okay. So it's RIP for those of you who don't have a Ranveer Alabadia moment also. Be very careful of all these things.
No, but
I like
you
to
can
take
just
names.
apologize.
Who
I
apologized?
don't like to take names.
I apologized before the show.
You
I'm
apologized
not
before the
smarter.
show.
Yeah.
I also apologized before the show.
Yeah.
This is like a death knell for a politician to be coming on any show with a comedian now.
Yeah, it would help if you were the party in power.
Correct.
But let's explain your situation right now. Not situation is the wrong word to you. You were with, can I mention all that?
Yes,
You
of
were
course.
with Milind
Yes.
Devra. So very much with the Congress. at
My
that
dearest
point.
friend and mentor in politics.
Dearest friend, also my dearest friend.
Correct.
And we're always supportive of him, whatever party he's
100%.
in. Having said that.
Having said that, sure.
Anyway, yeah, that's a nice show.
Yeah.
The guys have been on our show. Then you want to tell us how and what. So as a young man, you were basically like the PR and you're running everything and behind the scenes with Milind and gang. And
You're a theatre wala. See, politics is like theatre.
It's too sharp.
You're doing everything.
I'm just
when
going to
you're
set...
running, when you're running an election campaign with Milind or with anybody else, you're putting chairs one day for the press conference.
Yeah.
You're talking to the.
You're the guy we had
leader
to
the
talk
other day.
to get.
I'm the
through
guy you
him.
had to talk
Yeah.
to. Correct to
Yeah.
get to him.
Milind was quick to say, just call this number and send. Yeah, big wigs work.
Politics
like
is
that.
about
Yeah.
delegation.
Delegation and making sure you cannot
And
be
making
caught.
sure you don't need to
Yeah,
talk to
yeah.
anybody.
And I remember one of the problems was he doesn't want to come to Bandra.
He does not want
Which
to come
tells
to
you what a
Bandra.
South Mumbai MP he was.
See, but I'm willing to come to Bandra, so I have learned better.
So sweet of you.
So I'm very
Took us
sweet.
6 months, but hey. Like
But-
they, huh.
I started off in school.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's
Okay,
start
let's
right
go
at the
back.
beginning. We're both same school, but he's about a couple of decades younger than me. Scary. How did a guy... I remember Neil Pawar was in class with me, who is Suryakant Pawar's son, who is Ajit Pawar is his uncle, etc., etc., and Sharad Pawar will be the grandfather. So that was the closest we got to politics, but there was no sense of politics because his dad was not really involved and his mom was not involved. But we knew that Sharad Pawar, erstwhile Chief Minister for Life for Maharashtra, was in the background somewhere. But otherwise in Cathedral, I can't think of any political connections in my time.
So there weren't any, right? So the funniest part was
What is the Gawande clan's plan? Like where would you have gone if not politics?
I would have most likely become a chartered accountant or a lawyer.
I would have been
You know,
so
this
happy
is-
with
I
this
know.
decision, as would
It
mom
really-
and dad.
As would
Yeah,
my father,
yeah.
because he would be like, at least you'd be making some money.
Now you're making
But-
lots of money, but you can't
No,
count.
I'm making no money. Nah, this is the problem in
Hey, Baba, you have
opposition.
to your
Please,
opposition.
let us
You're
come into
bleeding money
government.
here.
I'm bleeding money.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the problem when you're in opposition.
But there's always
for your
hope.
entire political career. 2014, I
See,
joined politics.
let
I
me-
saw 3 months of
No,
government.
14.
14. So in 14, I was
year
in
where
school.
The BJP took over India.
The year when
And you decided to
it
go with the
all
Congress.
turned. The
with
year when it all
landslide.
turned. So
Yeah.
2014, I was in school.
Yeah, okay. You were still in school.
I was still in school. So 2014, I was in
दूध का
class
bottle लाना
12.
ना.
दूध का bottle
मैं
ला.
कैसा करेगा बात? It's very difficult.
2014, I was still in
12th,
school.
I would say.
12th standard. I was
18-ish.
in between my prelims and my board exams.
Okay.
And I was very eager to do something in the political sphere. I had a father who was very pro-BJP. And so obviously I was
I
anti-BJP.
read that. I didn't know that was correct.
Correct. No, it's very correct. So I was obviously very anti-BJP. And I said, what is a better way to demonstrate my rebellion than to start working with the Congress party?
Huh.
So at
So you all
that
used to have
time,
words and all? Like proper arguments?
we had proper arguments. We used to watch Arnab Goswami every evening.
Who can't?
And,
That man has built our nation.
The nation really wants
Greatest
to know.
Indian since Chanakya.
I would give the Bharat Ratna.
Yeah.
Like
I would give him two.
Two.
One for Hindi, one for English.
You know,
The
I
two
have to
shows.
go on a show nowadays, so I can't say anything like this. Arnab, we love you.
But he's very sweet off the show.
He's very sweet on the show also to me, thankfully.
yeah.
So I'm very grateful.
Is he scared of you?
He's not scared of me, but
because
he's-
you're with you're with the other side which prosecuted him.
No, we
back
did
in the
not
day.
prosecute him. Okay, the government
So he has a
prosecuted him.
memory.
We were very nice to him. But
Bro, you can't do that.
I can't
You're
do
part of that tribe now. You got to. You're part. You can't just switch and come to
You
this
just-
side.
you just,
because of your background is a little
no,
polished. and all.
just-
Now suddenly I'm a CA. Come on, brother. You're one of them.
I'm one of them.
Sorry.
No,
So
I was
dad
in
and you
school.
clashed.
Correct. So I was then.
What would mom say? What do others?
She was silent. She was
Any
like, "Can
siblings?
you please go back to your respective
Oh, you had,
bedrooms
like,
and
proper
go to
shouting
sleep?"
matches,
Yeah, we had
no?
shouting matches,
Wow.
and we wouldn't talk to each other. Then the next morning we would like
That bad?
grimace, and then again in the evening we would watch TV together
Yeah.
and shout at each other.
Yeah.
And he would want to watch Arnab, I would want to watch Barkha, and that was the clash.
Wow.
You know, and so this
that's
was
really
like,
like.
it was.
I mean, that's
a
like
full World
that's-
War
that's
III
the-
happening over the
Oof,
remote.
Ouch.
So all of this was happening, and the opportunity came to be part of the Milan Devra initiative, because
Yeah.
Milan was a cathedral.
Ex-career light, yeah.
You had a sort of notice go up on the notice board, I'm remembering, which was like.
Well, he kept going back to
sign
school
up.
and being chief guest and
Correct.
judge and all that. You know what politicians do in their spare time.
In their spare time. That's the only thing you're
felicitation,
supposed to
ribbon
do.
cutting.
That's the job.
Yeah, I know. Ceremonial
But,
job. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there was an option to become a door-to-door volunteer. So I signed up. I had lots of free time. It was between my prelims and my board exams. Clearly, studying was not much of a priority. And in 2014, I decided to become a door-to-door campaigner for the Congress party. And I can't tell you, there have never been so many doors shut on my face and so many abuses.
But this is
hurled at me.
pre-May. This is just before the election.
Before the election.
Huh,
The
so you could
anger
sense-
against
you
the
could sense
Congress
the way-
party
you
was
could
so
sense it.
high
Wow.
that, of course, we knew we were losing that election, and badly. I mean, it was quite clear. And even in South Mumbai, with traditional Congress voters, there
Oh,
were, before anyone said hello, they were rolling out a few expletives that we will not mention on this show.
No, you
So it
please
was-
mention. This show
No,
is
no,
just.
arre.
It's a. The show's alternative title is Fuck All Show.
Acha, wow,
That's what we call it.
the fuck all show.
Well,
Chalo,
in
the
Bengal, we say
fuck is-
Fuck All, because that's where our market really is. Just apologize.
Correct. And this is where
Get ahead of the tribe here.
Get ahead of the
Yeah.
tribe. I'm switching over. This is the NCP SP West Bengal unit. I will start.
Mama,
now.
which NCP?
SP? No, I said to
Yeah.
NCP SP. Now, very often people have confused
These
it
two
now. and
deputy
said,
chief ministers are driving me mad because I don't know what title to give each one. You want to take that?
I'm not saying anything. Listen, I don't want
Better
my
not to
house.
serve?
No. This is our Honorable Deputy Chief Minister number 1 and our Honorable Deputy Chief Minister number 2. These are the
That's
titles
too long,
I will
bro.
give them. Now, this is...
I mean, come on. CM is CM. We don't say anything, and then these guys get honorable deputy chief minister.
Yeah.
What is Kunal Kam? No, he
I
said.
don't know.
No, he said
Kunal-
wrong. It's
No,
wrong what he did.
He has no title.
No, yeah.
So that was when I started working there. Obviously, Milind had no idea who I was, because I was this sort of door-to-door volunteer. And we lost that election. But I ended up going to college. And that's where, funnily
Which
enough,
college?
I went to Columbia University. So I was in New York for my undergrad degree. Thoda padhai nahi
So
kiya na.
left-leaning,
Arre.
as UNIPs go. I mean, first Congress now has become more left-leaning because BJP came to power. Then you go to Columbia where there's like one right-wing person who's shot on the campus at some point. Yeah,
There's one right-wing person on the campus. That's it.
that's it. Yeah.
So,
yeah. In fact, right now as we speak, a few of them, professors and etc., have been targeted
Correct. By
not
wonderful-
BJP. What is the party called? Republican.
The Republic.
Yeah.
The BJP on steroids.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's
Wow.
now-
Wow,
you're-
bro.
you're-
Don't say all this because one day you may want to defect.
One
Look at
day,
your career.
correct. No.
Aage socho.
The wonderful part about this is if you have to defect, then you know that none of your previous statements matter if you go to the BJP.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they welcome you with open
Like
arms
some of the
anyway.
guys have used the same term. Some of the guys in power, no names.
Correct.
That the comedian, no
the
names,
comedians,
has used. And no action was taken against them. And they use it liberally, including in
Anything that
print.
you say before you join the BJP is
It's eliminated.
free speech.
Oh, I see.
So that's your free speech guarantee.
I might join.
Constitutional.
I have to look at my career also.
You
I'll
really
join.
do. I mean, you have a lot of free speech that needs to. You have a lot of speech that needs to be converted to free speech.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Because I
have what you
I'm
call
really
equity.
surprised.
I have a lot of
You
equity.
Lots of equity.
Yeah.
But I am very surprised. How has your studio?
Nobody watches. We're lucky. We had a show for 17 years. Nobody watches that.
There was a time when I was used to. 2014 is actually a really great year because the week that wasn't was at its prime.
Yeah.
And you were really getting great comedy on TV, and you were sort of on CNN, IBN that time, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, correct.
And you
Whatever
had
it's called.
satire, and you could make fun of anybody and
It's
everybody.
in English. We did it for 6 months in Hindi and we'll pull it off.
Oh.
With a lot of trolling and all happening.
This is what I get told very often also.
Yeah.
They say, you're very brave for speaking out against the BJP, but start doing it in Hindi and see what
No.
happens. And I was like, you know what, for now, I'm very happy being national spokesperson.
But even the
for
word
English.
traitor in English doesn't sound that bad.
It doesn't.
To the
It
ear,
doesn't,
I won't
it
use
doesn't,
the
it doesn't. No, you
Devanagari
can't use
version
that,
because
no.
it just sounds like an abuse.
It does.
So sometimes you have to understand that the direct translation also doesn't work because
No.
you're trying to say something more tongue-in-cheek.
But you're ending up saying something very offensive. But anyway, all of this happened. I was in college and then
You
I
were in
decided...
Columbia. One second.
Correct, I was in Columbia.
So you were very active in the student council thingies and all that.
I was very active in all of those things.
Yeah.
But I also ended up coming out of the closet.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. And then I said,
Is
then
that
I'm abandoning.
May I ask?
Please
Sorry to
say.
be. This dad and all, was that
Everyone knows.
So no, at that point, did your father know? Because
Initially,
I presume
for
that
the
would be
first
the big.
year, no. But I came out to them in 2016, so second year.
By the time you'd gone to Columbia.
By the time I'd gone to Columbia, I'd come back for a few months.
he was okay?
They were all very supportive.
Mr. Arnab was okay. That's a
Mr.
great
Arnab,
thing.
this is the funny part.
Yeah.
Like, you can be as right-wing as you want in this country, but my belief is that everyone in this country has a heart. And when it comes down to that, we're all softies. And everyone melts. So all this propaganda is good for TV. All this chest-thumping nationalism is good for TV.
So will they rebuild the
Talk to somebody
habitat?
nicely. I really fully think that we should rebuild the habitat.
Not
and if
we,
not,
the ones who broke it. Why should I do anything?
No, because now the ones who broke it are expected by the Supreme Court to rebuild it, but our faith in our institutions is at all-time
Look,
low.
Ayodhya took about 17 years. So I'm saying habitat, give it 20. Let's put it all on. Bro, if you want to pull out, to use a George Bush phrase, just,
I'm just going to... Where's the eject button to just push? This is good because week that wasn't, you had all these animations you could really just...
Only week that was the whole thing is we're fighting amongst ourselves while writing or arguing about what occasionally whether we've crossed the line. It's amazing how once you start thinking like that, there's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go.
It's a bit...
You can't. And that's the beauty, right? I keep telling somebody, I'm like, it's a $30 billion creative industry. If you have these restrictions on freedom of speech, the 8% of India's workforce that depends upon all of this is going to disappear. This is your Make in India. This is your India shining. This is your new
It's like
India.
being molested. What happens is once they attack you and go through all this, like what Samay and this Ranveer have gone through, etc. Very often some people, they back off a lot. And you're killing their art form, whether good or bad in a sense.
And you're killing yourself as well because honestly, your audience is going to get bored.
What is going to get bored, and also it's like you've lost confidence a little bit in doing that extra thing. These are, well, Ranveer not, but let's hope that Samay comes back. He's an edgy kind of guy. So is Kunal Kamra.
Yeah,
so
and I think these are people...
I'm not supporters. I hate them because they're competition and
They're
they take away work and all
competition.
that. But at the end of the day, you have to support your countrymen. If it's India versus China, for example, which it will be. Watch out.
Exactly. I mean... and
don't worry about Pakistan, China.
And if they're not watching Samay Raina, they're watching Andrew Tate. It's not like your comedians are restricted to India now.
I did an event just after that thing somewhere in Bangalore, and I asked everybody in the audience, how many of you have watched Samay Raina? They're all adults. About 80% said yes. So
I'd never watched Samay
No, that's not the point. The point is there's a market. People are watching. They are educated people also. Hello, you're not arresting them.
No. I'm saying I had not watched Samay Raina. Now I watch Samay Raina.
There you go.
So this is like this Tyson
But
effect.
you wait for the mighty to fall, and then you want to get into it.
I wait for them to come into the Times of India. Then I know.
Old-fashioned.
I'm telling you, I'm a baby boomer at heart. You think I'm very young. People keep asking me, a Gen Z politician. I'm like, I don't understand
It's
this
a South Bombay
Instagram
thing. You see dad with the newspaper.
Correct. I'm like,
acha.
but when I was younger also, I was like, acha, this Times of India is too big because
how can you read morning news on iPads and all? Please tell me.
No, I can't.
I mean, these
I
kids.
can't. My paper needs to come like this. And when I was a kid also, I used to have this sort of problem because I was quite short. So, when you open the Times of India, it was far bigger than you.
Yeah.
So, I used to sit on the floor and sit with it and then turn the paper like this. And that's why I used to really like Mumbai Mirror. Too bad they discontinued it. It was the one paper that I truly
Mahindra
liked.
Vatsa, page 32.
Oof.
Those sexual
he's
questions.
my friend's grandfather or granduncle. I've been to his house.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What a beautiful
What a
mind
guy.
in such an elderly man. I think he's
And
no
the
more,
most progressive.
Most progressive.
Most progressive.
His replies were never like conservative to
Never
that extent.
conservative.
Straightforward
You know,
and quite empathetic.
Very
There were some really
empathetic, you know,
stupid
for
questions and
LGBT rights, for, you know,
No,
single
absolutely.
women, for like anybody. He was the guy.
Now, this guy should have been, Dr. Mahendra Vatsya should have been a politician.
He should have been a politician.
Because his heart was in the right place. That's
or
for
a
sure.
comedian.
I don't even waste it as a comedian. Oh, he actually made
He
some
would have
funny
been a
comments.
great
He
comedian.
made some
His
funny-
responses,
yeah.
you know, like if he was on Instagram at that
Yeah,
point,
yeah,
he would have
been
gone
big.
viral.
He was big, bro.
He was
I
big.
remember doing MTV work and all. Everybody loved Page 32.
Everybody loved.
We discussed it like we are discussing it
Yeah.
now. And he still lives on in, you know, that whole generation.
You know, they couldn't find a replacement, so they used to reprint old ones for the longest.
Because some of it's a generic set of
Because
questions
generic,
also.
no,
yeah,
now
end of
where
the
it's
day,
going to
yeah.
change.
Yeah. Yeah, most sexual questions begin with I can't find someone to have sex with.
Correct.
Which is generally 80% of the questions. Am I
which
right, sir?
hasn't changed in the last 20 years.
This is India.
This is India.
Sorry,
But-
let's get back to your story. So 14 you said.
14, all
you
of this
went
happened.
there,
I
and
came
those
out
2 years, you came out in 16.
in 16.
You're still in Colombia.
I'm still in Colombia.
where, you know, whether you're straight or gay, I mean, just,
It doesn't matter.
Nobody even cares. Yeah.
But it does matter when you come back.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, honestly, I'm not going to do
what
politics.
about your
so I
friends from
decided.
school and all? They all knew?
They all found out later as well, and they were all also very accepting. And I
Cool.
think that was really, really very heartwarming. But I was still like, you know, this is a bubble. I'm living in a bubble. So, you know, let's keep politics aside. We're not going to be able to do politics anymore. So I studied comparative literature.
Wow.
And I studied Senegalese linguistic politics in the 1960s with a focus on Francophone West Africa and
the
Senghorian
French-speaking, right?
linguistics. Correct.
So was it in French?
It was in French.
Wow, you're that good.
Correct.
So you study Senegalese culture in French.
In French at
being
Columbia.
a Marathi speaking
Being a
guy by
Marathi
birth who
speaking
lives in
guy.
South Bombay where your national language is English.
Yes.
Oof, what a guy.
Because-
For this alone,
alone.
I'm writing to the powers that be to confer you with the 4 big awards.
With the 4 big awards.
3
What
plus
are they?
1.
Breaking
the Padma
off.
1, Padma
Acha,
2, Padma 3 and the Bharat.
Acha, the
To
Bharat.
save time, huh? Please
To
no
save-
disrespect. Yeah.
I thought I was coming on your show, not Kaun Banega Crorepati.
Sorry,
Yeah, what is this
sorry.
movement?
Sorry,
You got all
sorry.
4. This is,
I've got
you're going to make me
ADHD.
have an Alia Bhatt moment.
Our conversations go all over the
But
place.
I-
My wife can't watch
I
the
also
show.
have terrible ADHD, so
Yeah.
clearly our conversations
We
are
have
bouncing off the wall.
We've reached
right now.
Colombia and gone nowhere, and your whole life is ahead of you. Oh,
So I've
sorry.
reached Colombia, I've done all of this, I've given up on doing politics. I've said I'm going to become a nice professor and chill over here. And then there's a
Chill in
event-
India?
No, in the US.
Oh, in the
I
US,
was like,
okay.
I'll become an academic.
So you're looking
and
at tenure
listen,
and
I was
that
still,
whole-
when I went to college, Barack Obama was president. So this was a very different time.
And now it's time to bash those guys.
It's a very different world.
Let go of India for a minute as we
2016
travel.
is when Donald Trump became president,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
when I started reconsidering. I was like, Acha, over here, my future is not seeming very bright. So India is not seeming that bad now.
But although he's not, I guess, yeah, I understand what you're saying,
Listen,
but
the
he goes out of
early
his way to
warning
make sure that
signs.
he's sexually liberated in more ways than we
Oh,
appreciate.
God.
I mean, the things he said about women, sorry.
Things he said
not
about
good.
everyone.
Yeah. He's not, I
So-
can't remember any gay bashing. Been very careful.
He's been very careful. In fact, it's been very strange because there's a Twinks for Trump.
Yeah.
Where there's like sort of gay people
Right
supporting
wing
Trump.
gay.
Right-wing
But
gay
that's
people.
bound to happen now, yeah.
Correct. So, but it's a very confusing thing because I'm like, at the same time, he's kind of against marriage equality. So, what are you really doing? These are the guys who sort
There's
of.
the Catholic side, which is very staunch Bible belt.
And
so,
then there's a New York side, which is the
but I'm told it's
Playboy
all
Mansion.
fake because this New York side is the real side.
Exactly.
And this side is just adopted.
But this is even in our country, right? All of these
names?
protectors. No names.
Pen up, pen.
Now, look,
Give me names.
The protectors.
Who are the
of our
hypocrites of
cultural
India in
value.
power? Name me 7. Okay, quiet.
You know, I'll name you 4.
No. If they break this
Yeah,
down,
exactly.
Baba, then we'll have to work from, because Habitat, those comedians are successful. They have other places to go to. I'll have to
You're-
stand
you're-
down like a town crier. Come ye, come all. And then somebody say, Marathi Mati bol.
Yeah, exactly.
Marathi Mati kai? Come ye. Can you do it? Do you have any Marathi left in you? Do you make speeches and all
I
that?
make full speeches in Marathi.
Good.
English, Hindi, Marathi.
All good?
All good. All
But you're a linguist. You can do French as well.
I can do
You
French
go to
as well. I
Pondicherry,
should
bring
really-
Kunal Kamra back.
I know, so this is what the...
They speak that Creole French, bro. I've been there.
This is
Oh,
what
it's
I'm
just
going to
Tamil
do.
French.
You know,
What do you call
funnily
it?
enough, I'm
Tamil.
flying to Chennai day after.
Wow.
God knows for what.
Yeah. Many people who are fighting the center go to Tamil Nadu for safety or Calcutta for some reason.
100%.
Yeah. Where you're not
Because
allowed to say BJP.
when
It's a
I
different
was-
world.
yeah.
You say BJP and they attack
There
you.
was an event that
What do you say?
happened
Fat.
there was an event that happened in Calcutta where I was speaking at a while ago, and there's this anti-Modi stuff being spoken about, protection of constitution, democracy, and the whole time I'm sitting in my chair looking at the door, being like, when's the mob entering now? Like, when are we getting beaten up? Like, kab aa raha hai? Like,
Babul himself moved parties.
Yeah, exactly.
So, this is again career politician. Yeah, you have to do what you have to do. Yeah.
But anyway, all of this happens.
Yes.
I'm in Columbia. Rahul Gandhi is supposed to give a talk at campus. Because I'm involved in campus politics,
I think I remember that.
he didn't end up coming. He went to UC Berkeley.
Okay.
Shame. But I got sort
but
of.
Why did he
written
cancel?
I don't know. Now you ask Sam Petroda, please. Actually, please don't ask Sam Petroda.
I don't think they're talking.
They are. So I got an email saying if he's coming to campus, what are the arrangements, etc., etc. And Milind was CC'd on that email.
Right.
Which is when Milind and I started talking to each other again.
Okay.
And then in 2018, right before I graduated, he said, come run my election campaign. And I said, boss, I'm very gay and in New York City. And he said, so? And that was the moment where I was like, if you have faith in me.
Running is different from standing. Standing, these people
No,
will come
but
after
this
you
is a
with
fairly
conservative thinking people and all that. But
no, but listen, it's a fairly conservative workspace as well, right? You're working in Indian politics, which is.
Are you talking about the comrades you'll be working with?
With everyone you'll be
Or are you
working
talking about
with.
the general people you'll
The
interact
comrades
with?
you'll be working with, the fact that you'll be associated with the leader.
Are you telling me, with the kind of data we have, and I've studied this, I've run a play called exactly about this, that 1 out of 6 or 1 out of 7 people are, same-sex preference people. So surely there are enough politicians and political aides and bureaucrats and...
Remember, this was a very different time. This was the 2013 Supreme Court of India had sort of said gay sex is illegal again. It was technically illegal to be gay until much after I came back. Section 377 was still on the statute book.
It wasn't enforced,
It
right?
wasn't enforced, but when you're on public life, then that's a bigger scanner on you, right?
Yeah, and they can use that to bring you down as a political
or
issue.
bring Milind down, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to give him credit, he was like, you know what? I will take that hit. And to his credit, in 2008, he'd spoken up against it. Even before the first verdict against Section 377 was given in 2013.
Milind problem was he was too evolved.
Remains too evolved. No, that I respect him for. That I respect him for being truly ahead of his times in many ways, right?
And not petty about all these things.
Not petty
You
at
can
all.
get caught in that and waste your time.
And you have to be, that's what I've learned even now, is you stick to your values regardless of what career choices you have to make. But you stick to your principles and you're fine. And that, to his credit, I will give him some credit. He's been able to. But I came back 3 days after graduation. And
I thought you came back to the point.
No, I came back to the point as well. 3 days after graduating from Columbia University, I left the US, left that wonderful OPT or OTP, or not OTP, OPT, optional practical. Too much OTP in this country.
So that dream
And
of being a professor and
the 1 year dream I gave away, my Senegalese dream I gave away, and I came back.
But good impact on your life, right?
Well, except for the fact that I realized 3 days after coming back to Mumbai that Milind was like, the work isn't really starting here, so why don't you start working with Ashok Chavan and travel across rural Maharashtra?
Oh, wow.
So I had left New York City to come to South Mumbai.
And suddenly you're in Satara.
And suddenly I am in Ichhal Karanji, not even Satara.
What is that exactly?
It's very far.
Okay.
So
and Zomato doesn't reach?
And there was no Zomato in
Apro South Bombay.
It was there's no Zomato.
What is he going to?
There's no Starbucks.
There's no Wi-Fi.
No coffee. There's no Wi-Fi.
Wow.
And so my biggest challenge was, I was like, okay. And I've been thrown straight from New York City into Ichhal Karanji, and my biggest challenge is I don't have a wardrobe. What am I going to wear?
What do you mean by wardrobe?
Because you have to wear Rajniti. No, correct. You have to dress.
Why do you have to? Why can't you just be yourself?
No, because now I'm not the politician there. No, I'm sort of like writing press releases for the party and sort of communicating with the media over there.
I went to meet your leader, Supriya Sule, in shorts. And my friend Kunal was like, no, you wear pants. I said, why? Why should... And she was fine.
She will be very fine. She's a chiller.
Yeah, so we went to the office and she was fine. But he gave me a lecture, no, why? How could you come in shorts? Because I came from elsewhere, just outside the office. I said, no, it's too late. I mean, I can try and bend like this and, want to do one of those, hello ma'am, how are you?
Which is one thing I haven't been able to do since I joined politics is wear shorts. But
why?
The other day I went rock climbing and I posted a photo in like exercise clothes with shorts, and that seemed to have... You have to like push...
Now you can't wear kurta pajama for rock climbing, Baba.
So that's what I'm saying. You have to push little by little.
Or can you? Or should you? Check with the center.
Yes.
Wear desi, soch desi, calm desi.
Today actually Jyotiraditya Scindia is coming. He's now Minister for Communications. So I'll write to him and be like, dear Mr. Scindia, can I wear shorts now? Everyone's still friends.
No, I mean Milind and him.
Of course. Everyone's friends.
Now
they're on the same side.
Yeah, now they're on the same side. So,
anyway,
just quickly, if you can tell us, so outside, because I believe this is something people should know. A lot of politicians outside the parliament space, so to speak, or in the public eye, are actually great friends from opposite camps.
But that's how it's been. Even Supriya Tai has said this, and I'm very happy to be in a party where Pawar Sahib is the leader, because the constant reiteration has been that in politics, your opponents, not enemies.
Yeah.
I disagree with you, but one, I'm sitting in the same parliament with you and debating and discussing with you. So if I don't respect you, or if I don't think you're worth talking to, then I should not be in that same parliament as you. And if I'm in that same parliament as you and debating and discussing there, then I should be debating and discussing outside
it's a civil
too.
form of,
Exactly.
banter and discourse.
And the minute you sort of polarize it to this extent, where you're saying you're the enemy, you're the worst, you're not going to be worth anything, then you're doing a disservice to everybody. Because then nobody's hearing each other, which is what the problem today is. That I can think that there are smart people on the other side, and they can think there are smart people
But
on
also
the side.
there's a lot of agenda issues, things that you have in common also.
Exactly.
You may have one real issue, let's say Narmada Dam is a huge issue. You fight over that. I'm taking neutral topics for now.
Narmada Dam is a neutral issue. This only happens in South Mumbai.
No, I'm trying to go into find something where hopefully, no storm in the teacup. But there are lots of things that you can agree with. Or you have maybe sports, music.
Because that's what he
like
stopped
like
talking
Milind the
about.
guitar.
Correct. Or he doesn't play the guitar anymore, unfortunately, because
why?
apparently that also you're not supposed to do as a politician. We
But he told me there are a gang of 5-6 of them who used to play.
Used to. This
no,
is
but
the
across
problem.
party lines.
Used
They
to.
sit at the back while you're forming policy and
Not
discuss
anymore.
Def Leppard.
Not anymore.
Very
Today
different.
you're supposed to be this sort of like rough and tumble, like aggressive person who's only debating things
It's very
that
partisan
you
now.
disagree with each other on. Exactly. And now for example,
But even when the
Trump's
camera's off, that's
tariffs.
what I'm asking you. When the camera's off, when the
No,
parliament
the camera
debate
is off.
over.
Listen, this is an industry, right? So you're friends with each other because you're hanging out with each other. This is who you're spending all of your time with. So you are going to be friends. And in the current circumstances, you never know. You're on this
You
side
might
today,
exactly.
that side tomorrow.
Exactly.
So today
You
you're
only
my
have a
friend,
10%
tomorrow-
area of, commonality or something so that you can just make the cross, but
you have lots of commonality. You're also going through the same problems. You're sort of gossiping about the same people. You're sort of getting the same frustrations about why the speaker is not letting you speak, even if you're from the BJP or the Congress. So
is
there's,
it so? A BJP spokesperson not allowed to speak?
of course, because now there are too many of them. Now there's a problem of plenty.
Or maybe
when you
because
have 240 people
I
on
think
your
because
side.
you keep defecting, the speaker also can't remember.
The speaker can't remember, so they also like.
Akhilesh, you were ठीक है, बात करो.
But this is, this has become a problem now with journalists in Maharashtra. So they keep telling everybody, they're like, I have to save numbers. And suddenly every
to change,
time you have to keep changing. Every 6 months you're like, Acha, this person, the prefix or the suffix
Hey,
is
Baba,
not
you
Congress or
also
BJP.
caused that.
I'm not saying that at all. No, sir, I'm very much part of the problem. I admit wholeheartedly over here.
Yeah.
I
don't think
I've
it's a
stayed on
problem.
the same.
I think
I've
people
stayed
should
on the same
understand
side of the
sec-
political spectrum,
Yeah.
right? So, there's a difference between
At the
switching
moment,
sides as somebody who's working alongside somebody or as someone sort
so
of...
you're saying UBT. No, let's be clear.
No. I'm saying the
You
UBT...
went from Congress,
I went to the NCP SP.
correct,
Right,
who
so-
then have an alliance with the UBT.
With
So you're
the
saying
UBT.
our philosophy at the moment, which is
Which is
how
a
to do
common
football
minimum
terms,
program.
it's like Liverpool versus Man U. So if you are a Liverpool supporter, then you necessarily stay that side with other supporters. I'm making it easy for my audience of 7.
I'm very confused now. This football.
You're an
logic is-
American. This is the guys who went to
this is-
England to study.
This United.
Yeah.
I always supported United because my brother was a United fan.
Really?
In school, I
Because
had
in
nothing.
those days, they were very good.
They
The
were
last
very
10
good.
years, they've been horrible.
And I was just like, who was that manager?
Just like that party that isn't.
The
No
party
names.
that
The
isn't.
party that isn't.
But anyway, all of this happened, came back, worked on this.
No, you went with
campaign.
Ashok Chavan. I want to know.
With Ashok Chavan.
that
For
experience.
6 months, I was traveling across the length and breadth of Maharashtra. It was an incredible experience. I think as a South Mumbai boy,
Yeah.
I would never have been able to have that experience otherwise. And the fact that I could go and travel, one, it made my Marathi much better than it ever was, even
Best,
though I grew up
yeah.
speaking Marathi at home. It made my Hindi really good.
Hmm.
And it made me understand, one, how to carve out a space for yourself in politics, but simultaneously that there was a space in politics for queerness. I was very surprised because I had come in with the same understanding that actually, LGBT rights, you can't talk about it. They're all going to be homophobes. They're all going to be
Did anyone come
queerphobic.
up before you? I can't think.
No.
70s, 80s, 90s, anyone?
No, there's
You don't
never
have
been
one.
an out gay politician in India so far. There have been a lot of out trans folks who've been in politics. In fact,
No, but they've
Shabnam
already been
Kaur
trans and they comment to it. So
Correct.
that's a little different. I'm talking about people and suddenly say, okay, guys, this is the truth. This is what I really am. I'm not.
No, lots of people. And there are people who should come out. But, there is a fear. Right?
Give me a
Because,
list. I'll just take the names.
Just give it a list. No. We don't out people on this show.
No, but this is the big problem. If I dare, it's not my place to speak as a frustrated Indian male heterosexual, but I really feel that in India, upmarket homosexual members of the homosexual community, have not shown who they are. And if they did, it would make a big difference because it would reinforce and sort of muscularize the movement a lot, in a sense.
And that was the logic behind me coming out publicly as well, right? So in 2019, I started something called Pink List India, right before actually the Lok Sabha elections, which was a list of Lok Sabha candidates who supported LGBTQ plus rights. And that was done primarily with the purpose of saying, and this became a Times of India
front page.
Not front page actually, but next to Shobha De's column, which is as good
Much
as
bigger.
front page.
Much bigger than front
much
page.
Better,
You got
much
Shobha
bigger
De
and
with
better
you.
than front page, with a big photo of me. A statement that said you're always told that you can't be queer and in politics, and that needs to change. And that was my big coming out moment, and everyone from Nagpur and Satara was calling up my parents and my family and being like, he's a gay. And they're like, yeah, so.
What do you say for gay in Marathi? The gay means
gay.
Different.
Gay only.
Really? Devanagari.
Samalaingik is like very hardcore. Exactly.
You're really into the center then.
Yeah.
Then you've learned your Sanskrit.
You're fully like, so that's
I'm going to pick with you though, as a supporter of both the Shiv Senas. I find that while you're quick to say Devanagari and all that, why do Marathi speaking people when they fight break into Hindi abuse?
Because honestly,
they run to actually go and after that they bang John, I'm like, what?
Nice.
What happened to Marathi? Read the sign. Marathi mati bol. What the hell? And then the whole thing goes out of control. Just kidding.
We don't
Why
want
are you
to abuse
answering?
at all. We don't have to answer at all.
You're a polished man.
We don't abuse at all.
Yeah.
We keep it subtle.
Internalized. Yeah. Fair enough. You just have a raid when you're in power.
Correct.
Put the list down.
Put the list down.
So Kunal Kamra can't get successful. Because then, that's when they'll really go. I mean, like super successful.
This
Imagine
is the problem.
Worth crores.
Then the income tax comes after you. As long as you're a struggling comedian, it's fine.
Yeah, as long as you're okay. Yeah.
As long as you're okay. The minute the tax authorities start coming after you, that's the problem.
But then again, your parents will be so proud. Mera beta, tax authorities.
Tax.
3 दिन अंदर बेटा है, चाय पानी सब कुछ. वो भी अपना खर्च.
वो
भी cash.
Cash.
No, let's stay with the pink list.
So you started pink list. And then actually by the last Lok Sabha.
This is your idea or from...
3 of us. There was me, another friend, Smriti, and another friend, Devina. So 3 of us came up with this. And we started Pink List India. And we found actually that after the Lok Sabha elections, there were 161 politicians out of 543 in the Lok Sabha who had spoken on LGBTQ plus issues.
Okay.
And 116 had been supportive. And so surprisingly, almost...
No, 161 plus 116.
No. Out of the 161, 116 had been supportive.
Okay.
So actually...
So others had... 30-40 had been little against.
But only 30-40 had been against, right?
And the others don't speak because they're scared to speak. So
we don't know yet, right? So that's what we've been working towards now. To say that you actually don't need to be scared to speak. Because look, these 116 have spoken and their political careers are doing just fine. And they've been able to sort of make the convincing case for LGBTQ plus rights, even to constituents who are not urban elite, right? These are politicians.
But in some ways, maybe rural India is more
progressive.
Yeah, this is a big
It's
misnomer that people think.
It's a very big misnomer.
I would think that ones where we have big name and all, they worry about all these stains on their dynasty and lineage.
You don't have time to care about this. You have bigger
They're more
issues to care
accepting,
about.
yeah.
Like what you do behind closed doors is nobody's problem.
Destroy urban India and let's go back to the village way of life. Be great.
No, please, I can't
Well,
survive. I
no?
hate nature.
Damn you.
I hate nature.
You can't.
I'm not an
chaos
artist.
train, you can't take the South Bombay out of you. कितना struggle करेगा मैं 6 महीना गया था बैठ अभी नहीं करता मैं now direct Delhi.
Listen, I need food at 3 o'clock in the morning. So if I can't order,
how we went from Colombia left to walking the
Colombia में भी ना halal काट था ना रात को. You used to get food at 3 o'clock in the morning. Imagine if on the street is New York City.
But 3 in the morning, I think
3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, everything is always open.
Really?
You could order. I used to get my nice
they deliver at 3
basil chicken, rice, Thai curry at 3 o'clock in the morning.
What a struggle it must have been.
Very, very big struggle. मैंने बहुत struggle किया. But this
No,
is
you
a
have your
point.
own struggles, bro.
You-
Let's not
correct.
flex about these things. We have to take a quick break. 34 minutes into the show,
34
and then
minutes
we'll fill in the rest of your life in about 26 if we can.
Fabulous.
Pressure?
Pressure?
I like pressure.
I'm on.
There you
Chalo.
go.
Did you know Indians report nearly 800 cases of online financial fraud every day, which has resulted in losses exceeding 1,000 crores in the last 5 years? To keep you safe from such fraud, I am starting my newest podcast series, Conversation with Vigilante, an initiative by HDFC Bank. In every episode, I will feature special guests who can share expert insights on the different types of fraud, their modus operandi, and how you can protect your money. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and don't forget to tune into Conversation with Vigilante. Catch the episodes on all audio streaming platforms and V for Vigilante YouTube channel.
All right, Anish is still very much with us. Lovely story of, we're making fun of this and all, but it's very difficult for a man from a certain background to come out to everyone, and that to be in politics, in the limelight, be around really big, important movers and shakers, so-called, of society. So, that's something no one can take from you, because that kind of courage not many people have. It's almost like a spiritual courage to say, okay, F this, enough is enough. I'm going to just, come out.
But it's exactly that.
Yeah.
All it requires
I wouldn't
is
be
for
able to
you
do it,
to say
bro.
F
I don't
this.
think I would have been able to
No,
do
you have to say F this. And you have to honestly be like, you know what? Ukhad le jo ukhadna hai.
But,
then you have to be
but it
like,
could have gone the other way.
actually,
Where
and they could really ukhad.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
This country actually.
Yeah. But you're not a comedian.
I'm good.
You're just
I'm
gay.
not a comedian.
That's not so
Exactly,
bad.
That's true.
Look
It's
at
not
this.
too bad. In the list
Now,
of
gay comedian.
Now,
Oh,
gay
usko
comedian
pakadega,
bus.
sala.
Poor Naveen Narona.
Naveen,
Bichara, I've been on his
yeah,
podcast
yeah.
also.
Naveen,
Don't know how he's doing anymore.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's great. But he's got it up. And these things help, guys like him coming out and talking about it openly and making it, making fun of the whole thing, bringing it down a little bit, Other people are like patronizing also.
100%.
Like you have with skin color and nationalities and suddenly all that. So I think Naveen, we are looking at all 4 awards for you too one day.
All forwards.
Yeah. Sorry, so where were we? Ashok Chavan, and
correct.
then so you're now
Then back to
actively-
Milan. Ran that 2019 campaign. We obviously lost terribly.
Yeah.
And then I ended up applying for grad school like everyone who works in politics.
What
and
was
does
Dad
not-
saying in all this?
Funnily enough, by 2019, he was slightly starting to question our Prime Minister and Supreme Leader.
Oh.
And so
disillusionment.
2019, there was a little disillusionment, demonetization had happened. But of course, then Pulwama happened and nationalist sentiments came to the fore, and there was again an argument, if not Modi, then
So,
who?
but he was getting wishy-washy. He was switching here and there.
He was getting
You could
wishy-washy.
see that there was dents.
I could see the chinks in the armor
Right.
becoming more
Yeah.
evident. And that's when you have to just keep hammering. You
Yeah.
have to just go, keep on, to keep at it.
Yeah.
And he was always very impressed that he was like, you've looked at, to his credit, he was like, what is keeping you going? You've lost 2 elections now and
True.
badly. Like,
And that was a young man.
as a young man,
Because
he's like, you really have no ambition, or you're
Exactly.
really convinced about what you believe in. So he
And
was
your
like-
guide effects after that.
And your guide effects after that happened in 2024.
Fair, but yeah.
And so my father was sort of getting a little wishy-washy on this front, and he was like, okay, there are some 2 sides to this coin. 2019, I ended
What
up...
coin? Demonetization? No coin. Bro, that's a irony I can't let go.
What coin? The coins that were found.
Yeah,
Now only large-scale notes that are found
But-
outside judges' houses.
But the good thing
now.
is cash is gone.
Cash is
right?
cash is gone,
Ain't no
except
cash.
for 15 crores that is found outside judges' houses.
In Gujarati, we say case.
Case.
Which is also Punjabi
Yeah,
something.
exactly. It's going to be like
What a country.
as much money as there is hair on your head.
There you go. Don't say that's a touchy point. Okay, for you it's sexuality. For me it's the
It's the
hairlessness.
hair.
Yeah. So the 19 you lose again.
19 we lose again. I
Dad,
applied
you're
to-
saying is coming towards.
He's
Not coming towards, but there you
He's-
can see
he's
him.
gotten
yeah,
his doubts. I applied to grad school and get into Oxford on the Rhodes and sort of.
This guy. It's a bit of
That's
waste,
my father-
waste in politics, not Columbia, Oxford. You think he'd do something with his life? Idhar kya karta hai?
That's what I keep asking
I'm
myself.
sorry, if I
as
was your
well.
dad, I'd be like, what the hell?
No, my father was very surprised
Yeah.
because he's like, you got a scholarship.
Yeah.
He said, you got Rhodes Scholarship.
You got Rhodes
Yeah,
Scholarship?
I got Rhodes
For
Scholarship.
those who don't know, that's like the elite of the elite students of the world.
हाँ और फिर आके क्या करते हैं राजनीति में उतरते हैं.
Boss, really. This is like not right.
This is
We need to
not
talk
right.
offline.
We need to talk offline.
I'm a frustrated Rhodes Scholar. I'm just thinking, if I could have done that, why would I do this? We'd have a really big job from, you don't even become a startup guy. You just go right to the top of the corporate chain.
Yes, and then you just give speeches. But that's what I do in politics.
You cut
also,
ribbons,
man.
yeah.
Just cut ribbons.
Yeah.
So I went off to Oxford. I studied intellectual history and then public policy. I thought, let's sort of do
Arm
more
myself with.
good work. I know,
Yeah.
you have to hate yourself to do grad school. Like if you're doing a master's, you hate yourself.
Yeah.
Because voluntarily studying is a stupid idea. Now, doing this when you could be doing other things with your life is definitely
But you had a
stupid
plan
idea.
that I'll do all this and then get back here.
No, I had
Or
no
you thought
plan.
now-
1 second, in 2019, you think anyone in the opposition had a plan after that result? After getting 50 odd seats in the Lok
43.
Sabha, 43. No, 51 in 2019. Yeah,
Is it?
Marginally improved.
Is it? 43 40.
Yeah,
Is
40,
it?
44 in 2014.
Okay. And what was it in 24?
100.
100!
100.
Your dad was right?
My father is
Get
slowly
closer and
shifting
closer.
it.
Yeah. He's
So,
reaching midfield.
He's
Yeah.
reaching there. But went off to grad school, then came back, moved to Delhi, and
Why Delhi?
decided. The unfortunate reality in Indian politics today, particularly if you want to be somebody who does bad like I do, is that only some comedians like you are here now. All of our other comedians, news anchors are in Delhi.
6 run! Sixer! Firozshah Kotla, sorry. Arun Jaitley Stadium ke bahar, 6 run! Wow. Wow. Wow, you waited for that, yeah? You didn't Navjot Singh Sidhu, you set me up and then you gave the line.
So the other circus is sitting
You're
in Delhi.
okay, oh,
no? So
wow,
then
wow.
you
You're
have
saying
to-
it, not
you
me.
have to- you
We are
have
safe,
to-
bro. Demolition wahan se chalo hoga. Somewhere in North Maharashtra, they're going to break something of his family property.
So now the circus is going on there. So if you to be madari बनना है तो circus पे जाना पड़ेगा. आप अकेले नाचोगे तो कौन देखेगा?
Correct?
So you had to go there. So one sort of started meeting a lot of people there. Started getting involved in the circus that has become Indian politics and the news media. And then by 2024 elections, fast forward to Milind switching to Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, me having to take the decision as to whether to
So
go
once
with
he
him or
calls you
not.
up.
Yes. And
This is a very interesting thing. So do you go with the person or the philosophy? This is Indian, people of India and people of the world actually. This is beyond, this is a global issue.
This is a global issue.
Understand it that it's very often the person that's driving everything and not the so-called philosophy.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult choice to make, right? Because here's a person who's been
Not
very
for someone who's
instrumental.
in the front of the battle. You see,
And-
for us watching, we think, oh, ye kabhi nahi ho, kaisa ho payega? They are black, they are white, it doesn't work. But it does.
But it does, and the reality is this is someone who's sort of been your strongest cheerleader. You're having to make this decision.
And a guy you like.
A guy you like.
Yeah.
A guy whose philosophy you like. A guy who's been speaking up about the city on issues that you care about and on issues that you resonate with. And that was a difficult choice. And I'm even today in two minds as to whether or not it's a piece of advice I would have given myself 2 years ago, whatever, a
Did
year
you
ago.
speak to your parents or something, friends?
No,
or
no, there was
anyone?
no, you couldn't
It's
speak to anybody,
It's
right?
very
Because,
personal.
no, because, listen, there's not public yet, right? So
Huh.
nobody can know.
Oh, you can't mention the details. How do you?
You can't
speak?
mention
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
mention.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is also in politics very often it's a very lonely profession because
But he was keen on you, obviously.
he was always very
Yeah.
welcoming of me. He said, "Listen, there's a space for you. If you want to join, please do." And he's always been very
You
supportive.
never asked him, bro, why did this happen and all. You didn't get into that.
No, that is to be revealed in my tell-all memoirs, which will be launched once my political career is over.
No, it's fair if you're.
It's-
I wouldn't use the word poaching, but if you're recasting a guy in your movie or whatever, it's fair to find out what exactly happened.
No, and I think he had his reasons. I think we've all known those reasons
Yeah.
for a while as people who've known him. And I think there was a way in which this was a career move.
Hmm.
But for me, ideologically, it wasn't something that I was okay with.
So you
And
took the
so-
philosophy over the people.
I took the philosophy over the people, and only time will tell whether that was the right decision or not. But
You
I said
switched.
that this is, you have to speak with conviction.
Yeah.
And at least when you're starting off,
I
you
think
can't
you-
start off not speaking with
With due
conviction.
respect to Milind and people like me and all who are cathedral school and all that is fine, but we're somewhere in between. We can't be that left. You're Columbia, then you went to Oxford. So I think it's very difficult for you to make that jump. And then there's a gay side to it and this and that. All these things are weighing in your head. So before you go right of center, I
You were-
guess.
although
it's a-
that's a very accepting and welcoming space.
Well, you
so
don't know.
to its credit,
You
there's
think?
a weird way in which
you think.
absolutely.
So on both
Otherwise,
sides,
the offer would not be made, right?
it's a personal offer. It's not an offer from a
But
party.
it's an offer that comes with the understanding of all of these
that
other
you'll
things
be
that are-
comfortable in the environment.
Exactly.
You should do what I would always do. How much? Kitla. Only one question to ask.
This is a very good question to ask.
Money
particularly once
is the
you're in
most secular
opposition.
thing of all. Huh.
As of now, we haven't gotten there just yet.
Milind, if you're listening, every man has a price.
Every man has a price.
You just send him a message.
Ask me in a few years.
Yeah.
Ask me in a few years.
Yeah.
But then I went to Supriyatai, who I'd known for
So
a
how
while.
did you? Oh, you knew her. Okay.
I'd known her for a while through a conference, so I didn't know her personally at all.
Okay.
I'd known her through a conference, and I went and met her at the party office in Mumbai, and I said, listen, Subrata, and I was very honest with her. I was like, listen, this is the choice I'm faced with. You know I've been working with Milind for all this while. You know he's switched. But I want to sort of still be involved in politics, but I want to stick to my ideology. Is there any work you have for me? And to her credit, immediately she was like, yes, there's work for you.
Go park my car.
Called up the one thing I don't know how to do is how to drive.
What?
I'm a politician. You can't learn how to drive.
That's true. What do you do with it?
No.
I only take sit there humbly and do this while all of us wait for the car cavalcade to pass.
No, I take
like today.
Taxis. No, this is my, we'll get to that in just a second, but in Delhi, I refuse to get a car.
If you go to active politics, promise me you won't do this 50
I am in
cars.
active politics.
No, as in front of the...
In front of. No,
member of parliament.
100%.
Please,
100%.
please,
That's the
one guy stop
even
it.
today, I don't
Mr.
travel
Parikar
by
didn't
car.
do it.
And, even our Mumbai politicians for a long time didn't do it.
Who?
Milind
I live in
also
Malabar
didn't do
Hill.
it. Yeah, Milind also didn't do it. When he
Milind
was
had a
minister.
couple of cars. He didn't overdo it. Yeah.
No.
He had a few, just 7 or 8 bodyguards and things like that. No, comparatively, Milind was fantastic.
Where 7 or 8 bodyguards?
But
I
three.
remember when he was minister, he used to ask
One
the
of the
police
guys used
officer,
to-
please, andar mata, please.
One of his PAs, that's the wrong word.
But even, Supriya Thai and Pawar Sahib also, there's no cavalcade. He comes in one car.
I've been stuck in Beach Candy when he's leaving and all. No, not 25 cars.
Not 25 cars.
But there are 5, 6
there's
cars.
other
And a
people
cop
who
telling you to
also-
move from the other side of the road because I'm the assassin, trained assassin for all politicians.
Listen, now you are
I'm killer.
the tongue is sharper than the sword.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
can't,
I went
I
to-
can't get it out of my mouth only.
you can't get it out of your mouth.
What kind of conversation is this? And you're gay on top of that. What are you doing to me, bro? Stop.
Cut.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
So she was nice.
She was super nice. I started
On that very day
helping
joined.
out. Didn't join the party then. Started helping out in the party.
How does one join a party? Tell people. Now, is that
How
an
does one
oath?
join the
You take
party?
an oath?
It's like a hobby.
What?
It's to join a political party is very simple.
There's no formal.
You join that eventually. But my argument is that you pursue politics like you pursue a hobby. You don't have to do it 20 hours a day. You can do it for 2 hours a day. I started off volunteering as a door-to-door campaigner for 2 hours a day. Na?
Okay.
You can get
with your
involved.
bloody Oxford and Columbia degrees, you're the foot soldier who's doing the
Absolutely.
literally or like
I'm
delivering
telling you, I'm a
saman.
theatre wala and a politician. On one day, yesterday, 2 days ago, as national
So sad that
spokesperson for the
Mr.
party.
Yechuri is not here to guide you. It looks like you're wasted in all these parties. You
I
need
know,
the
I really-
Communist
I need to
Party
go
of
to the
India.
Communist Party of
Yes,
India,
revive it.
Revive it.
It's on life support.
It is on
Yeah.
life support, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the other day at a
See, he said
National
unfortunately.
Working Committee report,
Sorry.
National Committee meeting, I was putting chairs for the press conference. This is what you
But
do.
again, you said like the theatre, you start at the bottom. It's
Exactly.
okay.
No, even
Yeah.
at the top, the director's also doing this. This is not Bollywood, it's theatre.
Really? Yeah, no,
It's-
that's true. That's true.
the director's also like, fetching coffee one day for some people.
And the great thing is the watchman stops the director also.
The watchman stops the director
No,
also.
you are.
Because who are you?
Yeah. It won't be like 17 people come before the big star and all that.
Whatever you are, at the end of the day, you're karta, karita, karya karta. You are at the end of the day a karya
You're
karta.
so left of center,
Yeah.
it's scary. No,
Where
I,
left of
I want to go
center?
the other way now.
No,
I want
I'm-
some people to clap and all
I
that.
love this.
You
You're
know,
like, listen, look at
in
this.
communist theatre, they don't even clap because everybody's equal. Shreya's clapping for some
No,
reason.
one second.
Where is she a
am I
leftist?
I'm very red. Oh, actually, I am wearing red pants
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
Really,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really
Yeah.
waving the flag. But
Ain't no trace of orange.
Listen, but I'm also having my Starbucks now, so then I'll be cancelled in those circles. So you get cancelled
Starbucks
everywhere.
is the lower quality stuff abroad in the sense.
Correct. But
So you're
over
not-
here now.
No, but
it's
you're a global human being.
No,
so
here you have to be relatable.
Yeah.
I can't go and say I'm going to go to Nandan Coffee. Now then people will be like, what is going on? You're too elite.
What happened, bro? You have to go to Nandan Coffee.
No, I can't. Nah, first I go to Nandan Coffee. When I
Actually,
say I'm
but you
going-
wear
Yeah,
Starbucks
exactly.
Starbucks
I tell you,
cup.
you over there, you please put the
Yeah,
Starbucks
DSP
cup.
pretend glass and scotch.
The
and-
coffee is
Yeah.
Nandan.
Wow.
It was scotch.
Sorry,
No, it's
I went straight
He is
for that.
straight.
Yeah.
Alright.
Flip from coffee. Where were we?
So I started working with the party.
Huh.
And in 3 months, and credit to her, in 3 months, you were having a conversation over breakfast at 6 Janpath in Delhi. And I said, XYZ needs to be fixed in this setup. And this was after the Lok Sabha elections where we'd done exceptionally well. We got 8 out of 10 Lok Sabha seats.
She did well herself.
She
yeah.
did incredibly well herself in a very difficult seat. And she said, you know what? XYZ needs to be fixed. Fix it. And I said, give me a position. And she said, what position do you want? And I said, national spokesperson. She said, okay.
What is
Phone call
Clyde's
was made.
position?
Clyde is also national spokesperson.
So there are 2 now.
There are 3 now.
Who's the third?
Naseem Shafai.
Get rid of that.
But
3 is too much.
Well, Naseem ji has just become national secretary for the party.
Okay. Naseem, we love you.
He's very senior.
See,
leader
Amar
of the
Akbar
party.
Anthony, you're the Hindu, by the way.
Yeah, it's really
Use
Amar
your
Akbar
power.
Anthony.
Yeah,
That's true.
it
We
is.
should really do this.
Use your power,
Honestly,
bro.
This is
You're
what
the
we're going to do.
majority.
Amar
What the
Akbar
hell
Anthony.
is it? Akbar Anthony! To piche ja.
Yeah.
Amar Akbar Anthony. That's the way it should be sung. No, I'm just kidding.
We are secular.
Yeah. No, but I want to ask you quickly. We'll suddenly run out of time. Do you think Sharad Pawar is the last of those secular politicians?
I think he is the last of
He's
his
not
generation.
tainted with that, you know.
He's the last of his generation.
Last of his
There's
generation.
a way in which, let me be very honest, secularism is a much maligned word today. But
Overused.
for Pawar Sahib, secularism is common sense.
Yeah.
Why should you be secular? Because in a country of 1.4 billion people where you have some 30,000 castes, creeds, communities, religions, being communal is bad for business. Being communal is bad for you and me. Right now we're complaining about convoys. We're not complaining about curfews. You know, I remember growing up in Mumbai where there were curfews, and you had some riot taking place somewhere, and you had some sort
Bro,
of
I'm very
conflict
scared of this
taking up
Article
somewhere.
144 and the way the fascism of the police
Exactly.
takes over and all. It's
And there's
dangerous.
no need for this, right? If you want to become a Vishwaguru, you want to become a whatever $5 trillion economy, this is not how you do it. You have a population that has been living in harmony. You have a social contract that needs to be upheld. And secularism makes common sense.
What is our social contract? That
Our
all
social
will
contract
do well.
is that I can hate you in public, but I will still have dinner with you.
But you'll pay.
But you'll pay. So, as long as you're paying, I'll have dinner with you. So, it's not that we're not some sort of ideal European secular country where we
They're also
believe
more
we're all
homogeneous
equal.
population. It's a little difficult dynamic. People should not keep comparing.
We absolutely hate each other and we will yell at each other, but we'll still come together and have a nice time. Just this weekend, we've had Gudi Padwa on Saturday,
Eid on
Cheti
Sunday.
Chand on Saturday,
Correct.
Navre on Saturday, Eid on Sunday. And we've all managed to celebrate it very happily, and we've all just gone for food to everyone's houses and had a good time. That's what
We
secularism
also
in this
called it
country
for
is.
what it was, a holiday.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
Which
there
is
was
the main
someone-
point here.
Either Swami Vivekananda or someone else said, we have different religions but the same
you're-
festivals.
You're quoting
Of
Swami
course, I'm
Vivekananda.
quoting Swami Vivekananda.
You're really secular. You're
I know,
global
very
secular and
global secular.
a
You know,
proud philosopher king.
Yeah, and he gave that speech in Chicago. I'll give that speech here. That different religions, same festival.
Yeah.
You celebrate all
That
festivals.
is sort of
Why
true.
would you not eat food? Yeah. Now I went for Cheti Chand lunch and had Sindhi kadhi,
Hmm.
and then had nice mutton last night for Eid.
There
Why
you
would
go.
I deprive myself of all of these things? It's a terrible idea not to be secular. You're just denying yourself such great things. That
Also,
this country
I
has to
don't
offer.
mind us being non-secular on other. I think race, religion overdone, sexuality overdone. I think, but you can divide on simple things like people who scratch too much.
Correct.
People who cough
Let's
in public.
divide on things that matter.
What about people who cough in public all the time? At funerals, it's so irritating. Everyone's pretending to be sad. This guy coughs.
Or people, and this is a law that this is the law that I'm passionate about.
What?
Free distribution of earphones.
Because
People who listen to their phones loudly in public, incredibly loudly on a flight,
come on,
on
government,
a train,
leave camera alone and
please,
catch those guys.
Please don't catch them, because I believe not in retributive justice but in restorative justice. So I'm like, free earphones.
Use smaller
Just
words
give
so we
them.
can take part in the conversation.
And, don't punish reform.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're right.
Just give free earphone. Nah, Arey, why are you listening?
But listen, bro, we're at a bus stop, there are 8-9 people early morning, and you see one guy is really loud with this thing. The other 8 guys are just getting screwed.
Exactly.
In a plane, in a train,
That's what
and in
I'm
all
saying.
these
So
places.
discriminate on that basis.
No, but
Divide on that basis.
Why can't action be taken? We're taking action against too many other players, which are sometimes I feel there's too much action being taken.
100%.
Like 10,000 people going to break that place down.
This morning, the news headline on April Fool's Day.
April 1st, a great day for a lot of fools. Yeah.
A great day for a lot of fools, including us.
Yeah.
Because we are the ones who
We're
have
proud
elected
fools. Yeah.
But on April 1st, the headline in the Times of India on the front page is audience members summoned for questioning by Mumbai police in Kunal Kamra case. Audience members.
Wow.
So arrest Kunal Kamra, arrest the cameraman, arrest the audience members, arrest everybody who was
valet
involved in
parking
that.
should be arrested?
No, valet should also be arrested. No, arrest the hotel wala also who is on the entrance to Habitat because they broke his hotel also,
Yeah.
because he is responsible.
What about the tourists who ask,
No, everyone was
was
staring. Everyone was staring. Arrest.
Yeah.
Arrest everybody.
Kamra's
That's what
parents,
the Mumbai.
they gave
Kamra's
birth to
parents.
him.
They gave birth to him.
Sorry,
Kamra's
Mr.
friends.
Mrs. Kamra.
Everyone. Just
Yeah.
arrest everyone.
All Kunals.
All Kunals.
Done. Happy ending to our show.
But don't file FIRs against those who are convicted of rape. Don't file FIRs against those who are convicted for murder.
And more important, the swiftness of justice is not executed in these cases.
And
the swiftness with which justice is out to meet its,
Can
goal.
you imagine the BMC shows up within 12 hours?
Really?
Please hashtag my BMC. When I tag them on Twitter, they don't show up in 12 months.
Yeah.
So my khadda is not important enough, but habitat is important enough.
Also, is it true there was just a little area that was going out onto the road or something, which you break a lot more for that one small area. So the cost to companies is a lot to bear, which is not really fair because you have to break what is so-called illegal.
Exactly, but this is sort of revenge politics, right? This is what they do. And the point is that there are bigger things. Yes, Sicily.
I tell you.
Let's forget the fact that Trump's tariffs are going to hurt us. Let's forget the fact that you and me and everybody else has lost a large amount of money on the stock market.
But my guy told me, don't worry, it'll come back.
That's what everyone has been telling you. But
then he started drinking heavily. Am I to see the signs?
I mean, the writing is on the wall. This is the challenge. This gold bullion bond that they introduce has suddenly
been withdrawn. So is it because you guys are in opposition, you immediately say that the market has crashed and these guys are responsible?
The market crashing is not the government's fault, but the market
it's some government's fault, not Indian.
It's not any government's fault. But the point is, it's the government's duty to now respond to it. And let's think together how to respond to it. Trump's tariffs are not the government's faults.
That came later. We already had the crash.
No, but I'm saying Trump's tariffs separately are not the government's fault.
True.
But now get smart people in the room to discuss how do we combat these tariffs, what is our strategy. No idea. Wing it. 2nd April they start coming into force. We have no idea.
Our diplomacy.
But that's failed.
Failed?
Mr. Trump has said India will have to pay tariffs just like everybody else.
Ho gaya na?
Bas. Jhappi politics.
And then from behind he signed a paper saying tariff.
It's a very,
you feel his accent, his return rather to active politics presidency has made the whole world go a little right?
Absolutely. And
you've seen a few elections in Europe that have turned that way?
100%. You're seeing a rightward shift across the world. You're seeing a crisis.
So what's your play now?
Democracy. No,
or your play for all the different parties across the world who have to now balance this situation out?
There's a fundamental belief in a politics of care.
Of?
Care. I think we have to care about each other and that will win out in the end. In all of this noise, in all of this violence,
you think there's a lot of bluster and it'll die down?
It'll die down.
Or you think there'll be a counter movement?
No, the DNA of this country is to care about each other. It would not have survived for so long.
That's true. That's
true. These things come and go.
We always look at it from a negative lens, but we have survived living together with all kinds of communities, castes, got through all kinds of nonsense.
There is no reason India should exist as a country today.
I live in this room with 8 people from different communities and I can't stand them. But I'll tell you one thing.
But you're still in the same room?
Yeah, I've not walked out.
You've not walked out?
I mean, that's a start, yeah.
That's a start.
You have to start small.
You have to start small.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty is that we know how to care about each other. And sooner rather than later, we will recognize that caring for each other is what keeps this country together. So, to be against your government is to care about your country.
Are you going to stand for active politics now?
Agar Janta Janardhan chahe to.
Beautiful answer. Any answer where you're not committing is the right answer.
You never commit to standing for office as a politician.
I think you make a great member of parliament here.
This is Janta Janardhan chahe to.
I'm a little prejudiced because
you're not voting in South Mumbai anymore though. No, you are now voting in South Mumbai.
I vote?
I used to run into you because I grew up in Dadar Parsi colony when you used to go walk your dog.
Yeah.
But now you moved to Mahalakshmi.
No, I walked at Oval.
Oh, you walk at Oval now?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're very, very South Mumbai.
I'm very South Mumbai.
Oh, very good. Then Janta Janardhan chahe to, you are right person.
And also, my area, Malabar Hill now, is the worst area for turnout, no?
That's true.
We go early morning, I take my mom and she's old and stuff and we talk to everybody there and they're so happy to see somebody come. Because they've been there from 5:30 setting up and all that and then, you have like 3 people in that huge building area. It's very embarrassing.
But who do they all vote for?
Sorry, who do they vote for? You want me to reveal who I vote for?
All of these Malabar Hill progressive people.
Let me explain the problem. You, NCP and Shiv Sena have caused huge trouble for older people who don't really understand politics. Because now there's so many versions of symbols. You that they've said, Mera beta se puchne ka 1 minute, Baba, which Shiv Sena? And then that's where it all starts.
Fully alive.
No, I'm telling you, no jokes.
Button dabega Kamal pe. In Malabar Hill has been the bane of my existence since 2014.
No, Baba, there a lot of people have then later on, what, which one? Oh, this symbol, that symbol. We had to show them with pictures in the end. I won't get into it, but it's so scary.
You know what, we will, this is
Please understand.
This is what we will.
Pictures are very important.
I agree.
Because there's a whole political consciousness which doesn't exist in parts like South Mumbai
So
and other parts.
I'll tell you a great story, right? We had a change of our symbol a month and a half before the elections,
Yeah.
right? We had a clock symbol first,
Yeah.
and then we had the tutari.
Yeah.
And then the best thing we did was, and we managed to counteract the symbol confusion, we just sent lots of these tutariwala players to all of our rallies. So that was the best way to get people to know our new symbol.
But
You
why
just
didn't
got
you
them
take a
everywhere.
symbol of a mobile phone with a time on it? Because that's the new clock, no? See, I'm
I think
thinking.
the Election Commission of India should introduce this mobile phone with symbol of clock on it. And I think that will be the one that we will go to next once they engineer another split. And
But the time will be
cause
controlled by Delhi, no?
The-
Can I ask you one personal question? Political
Please,
question. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. What's the Ajit Pawar, Sharad Pawar situation outside where they
It's
are?
family.
Yeah. So are
It's
they still
family.
family outside the
Of course,
parliament?
family is family, right? Family is family. There's obviously been a really, really significant political separation.
Yeah.
There's been a significant erosion of...
First, people thought this conspiracy of Sharad Pawar has engineered it because he's this Chanakya of politics and all
No,
that.
but this
And-
engineering conspiracy theories are
Became
what
too
everyone
much.
thrives on.
Yeah.
You know, that the reality is that in politics, you can't believe any conspiracy theories. And finally, in politics, you can never know what Pawar Sahib is thinking. The only person who knows that is him. For me to even pretend to know what he's thinking is a folly.
Does he like you?
He's been very sweet to me. I can't tell if he likes me. He's a man of very few words, actually. He's very limited in his praise.
But does
he
he
listens?
Does he tip you if you've done a good job? Like,
Does
"Beta."
he tip me?
No.
There's no monetary exchange in this party. We're
Oh,
in the
no,
opposition.
good. Well played.
So,
Well,
you know.
well played.
But
Oh.
but the resolution we will leave on, I think, is to reform Malabar Hill. I think at the end of this podcast, I want to get 5%
I
higher.
feel bad
voter
bringing it
turnout.
up all the time, but please tell the cops not to sit on chairs here. I mean, it's just ridiculous, you know, just sitting in the middle of the road. And then they stop me for no reason, and I have this conversation. I always ask them, why are you sitting? You know, it's almost like, you know, they're only working for the VIPs here. What happened to the cops I grew up with? They were tough guys, you know, they were sweating all the time, and it's a different world altogether now.
But that's because we've reduced our cops to only serving VIPs.
That's what I'm saying.
If I put you on VIP duty as well, even you will sit
I'm
on a
not
chair
blaming them. I'm
because-
saying
No,
you,
I agree,
you
I
hijacked
agree.
the force.
No, absolutely. And this is what we've been complaining about. That your law and order in the city has crumbled. Because your cops are busy reading comedy venues
And
and
you see the
arresting
stress they under, see
audiences.
their body language. You know, again, better than me, the body language, the moment these guys are passing, they're under so much. I
And
think
for
they're going to
no
have a heart
reason.
attack just
For
watching their
no
faces
reason.
and.
For no reason.
No reason.
It's really unnecessary.
Really. Honestly.
And I think the decimation of the most quality police force in this country
Yeah.
because of very silly political interests. It's not even like you're making them do something remarkable. You know, you're really sort of making an IIT graduate do the level of your local electrician. That's the best
Are
equivalence.
you talking about the AAP party leader?
No comment.
So we take a shot from outside.
Take a shot.
Sometimes you can score a goal from the midfield also. You don't have to go. all
Like duck and like there's the door. I'm gonna
Just
be like,
kidding. Till they come back to power.
till they come back to
Yeah.
power.
You never know.
There are very good friends.
Yeah,
We really
yeah,
like the
yeah.
AAP.
But just thinking aloud for a second about